Hello and welcome all. In today's video, we are going to learn how to create a sign up or register account page on ASP.NET C#. So for that, first of all, we will search for Visual Studio in the search bar. It will take some time to open depending on your system and internet speed. Once it is open, click on Create New Project. It will again take some time. Here, search for a web application with a .NET framework. Scroll down. So here is it. Click on here and at the bottom right, click next. Now in this section, name your project. I'm going to name it as examination system. You can name it as whatever you want. You can also change the directory of your project through this browse option. Click on here and change the directory. I'm not going to do that. Now at the bottom right, click create. It will remain empty and the add folder section, click on web forms, click create. Your project is creating now. Now just add your project name, right click. Now hover on add and select new item. Now we will search for web forms. Name it as sign up or register account, whatever you want. Click on add. Your project is created now with this sign up page. Web form. In your browser, search for Bootstrap CDN. Click on first link. The CDN will appear here. Copy this link and paste it right before your title tag. After this head tag. Now we have to add some Bootstrap classes for styling. So first of all, the class will be container, and in this container, we have to add a row, div, and the class will be a row. And in this row, we have to add two columns. The first column will be column medium 3, which will remain empty because we want our content to be displayed on the center of the page. After this column, we have to add another column with column medium 6, where we will add our whole form content. Now in this column, first of all, we will add some classes with our text and content. First of all, the heading will be sign up, which will display it on the top of the form. Now we will apply a class here, which will be form group. We will normally use this class in forms whenever we want to create a form. Now in this form group section, we have to add a label and a text box and a validator. The label, in this label, we will name it as first name. It will display it as it is. Now we will add the ASP text box here with run at server. His ID will be txtfn. Fn for first name. We normally use short abbreviation for these names in the ID. CSS class will be form control. Now this was all about the text box. Now we have to add a validator. In ASP.NET, we use some validators to validate our data. For example, if the user have added the text box like we are writing first name. So if user forget to add the first name, then it will show an error that user did not enter his name. That's why we use validators. Its ID will be txt rffn, rf required field, and fn for first name. Now here we will use a control to validate attribute. In this attribute, we will use the ID of the text box we want to validate. We want to validate the first name, then we will use here txt fn. For color is red. If user forget to enter his or her name, then it will appear an error with color red. Set focus on error, it will focus on that error. This is another attribute. We will set it as true. And now we have to add error message that user has forget to enter his name, then enter first name. Okay. So our first field is created successfully. Now we simply have to copy this whole form group and we will make some changes to add our another field, that is last name. We will change the ID here, txt ln for last name, and here the ID of the field validator, and we want to validate the control last name. That's why we will remove the fn here and enter ln. And we also have to change our error message that enter last name. Okay, this field is also created. Now copy this and again paste it to add another field, that is password. This is the same as the previous one. Change the ID, add password, txt password. Also change the ID of the required field validator. Oh, here is an error. It is control. I forget to enter R here. What is this saying? Okay. This error is also resolved. Now change this ID here. RF password. We want to validate the control, that is txt pass for password. And change this error message as enter password. In the text box, also use a property that is text mode, which is password. Okay, we are done with this. We have to add another field, that is email. So simply copy and paste it and write email address here. After that, change the ID and also remove this text box, text mode. Change the ID as txt email. Also change the ID. Oh, I have written it as password, which is wrong. We have to add txt email here. Also write rf email here, and the control to validate section we have to add. Okay, there is a mistake here. For email, we use another validator which is ASP, regular expression validator. Simply copy all of the above attributes with their values and paste here. We no longer need this required field validator. So we will remove this. Now in regular expression validator, add the control to validate property here. The value will be txt email. Now in regular expression validator, we have to add an expression. Simply go towards your browser and search for that expression for email. Just like I'm doing here. Validation expression for email in ASP.NET C hash. Click this Stack Overflow link. You will see an expression here. Copy this whole expression and paste it in here as validation expression and paste the whole expression which we have copied just before. Enter write email. This expression is used for write email if the user entered a wrong email, such as just his name test email, and he did not enter, he forget to enter at or at gmail at yahoo etc, then it will show an error that user has entered a wrong email. Now we will enter a div. Apply some styling here. We will align it as center, it in center. That's it. Now we have to add two buttons here. Run at server. Its ID will be btn sign up. When the user will click on sign up, on click create new event, and an event is created in asp.cx file. signup.aspx.cx. Its width will be 150 pixels. Apply a CSS class here. btn, close this. And write a text here as sign up. This button is created successfully. Add a break here. Now, what we have to do is that we have to add a link of login.aspx. We are using this link because if the user's account is already created, then just click on this link. He will navigate towards the login page instead of creating his account again. Style text align center. Apply a margin here. Margin top will be auto. Auto will align this text center, and we have to add as already have an account. So that's all about this. Now what we have to do is we have to add the style tag just for styling our button, our sign up button, and we have given the class btn to our button. So dot btn, enter a background color, give it a background color as hash 00264D, and the text color will be white. Now on the hover effect, we also want to apply some styling. We actually want to change our background color on hover effect. Change it as hash ff8000. Now we are done with this. I forgot to enter the card property here. Sorry, the card class here. It's a bootstrap class we normally use in forms. Now at last, we have to add a ASP label message which will appear, which will give us an error message if the user account will create. नहीं, now at last we have to add a label, and what will this label do is that this label will give us a message that your account is created successfully. Run at a server, give it a ID, LBL message, because it is going to give us a message that your account is created successfully. Its forecolor will be red. Okay, we are done with this. We have to format our whole code. We have an error here that I forget to add the closing tag of head tag. And also we have to fix this. Now again, go towards the edit, advanced, and now click on format document. Our document is formatted now. Everything is done. Run this page. It will definitely throw an error. And why this error is here, I will explain you later. It will again take some time depending on your system and internet speed. Okay. So here is an error that is because just copy this, paste it on Chrome. We are going to fix this error now. Click here. And now you have to copy this whole app string tag. Copy this app setting tag. Now in your code editor, open the .web.config file. Now in here, after this configuration tag, you have to enter this app setting tag. Save it by pressing Ctrl S and run the server again. We will no longer left with this error. Now you can see that our sign up page is created successfully, but we have not added any functionality here. We have not connected it with the database. So our data will not be stored in any database now, until now. Enter first name, last name, password, email address. Okay. Here you can see that a message, error message, because we have not added last name and password. We will add a functionality to this sign up page in the next video. Now when you click on sign up, you can see that the page is not loaded just because we have not added any functionality here. We will see that in the next video, that how to store your data in the database. Thanks for watching.